Hi everyone, my name is Kristen and this is my channel, Kristen is Fully Booked. Today I'm going to be sharing a non-spoiler review for one of my favorite books from all of 2020, the sequel of which is one of my most anticipated releases for 2020, and that book is Fable by Adrienne Young. When Fable, our main character, is only 14, the ship that she's living on sinks in a storm, and the following morning, her father, the helmsman of the ship, drops her off at an island called Javal and abandons her there. The story picks up 4 years later after Fable has essentially been living, surviving, and scraping by on this island Javal, and she's trying to raise enough money to board passage or gain passage onto a ship called Marigold to take her across the Narrows to meet up with her father. She has been dredging in order to get by. Dredging is something that was taught to her by her mother, which is essentially a form of free diving where you're holding your breath and diving deep under the water, and then while you're down there, mining for gemstones. Fable has been selling these gemstones to the helmsman West, the helmsman is essentially the captain of the ship Marigold. In a very dramatic fashion, Fable is able to gain passage onto the ship Marigold and begin her journey across the Narrows, the area of the sea that they live on, and make her way back to her father. It becomes really clear that there are some big secrets on the Marigold, in addition to the secrets that Fable herself has. Despite the fact that she shouldn't want to, she really wants to know what is going on with this ship. This book is very atmospheric and environmental. I follow the author on Instagram and she describes herself as an intuitive writer, and I think that this really comes through in the writing. You feel like you are right there with Fable the whole time, whether you are on the ship, in a storm, under the ocean diving for gemstones, or in one of the grimy, dirty cities. You really feel connected to both Fable and to the world in her immediate vicinity. Fable is a survivor. She is one of my favorite main characters from all of last year. The people on the island of Javal are essentially described as being all of the outcasts, the thieves, and the people who do not fit into the already very grim world of the Narrows. When Fable is only 14, she is dropped in this situation the morning after the ship, her home that she knows, has sunk and her father has abandoned her. She is tough. What we really get to see is her overcoming these and finding her way in the world. And that's, I think, a big part of what this book is about, at least to me. One of the themes is finding your place in the world. It also deals a lot with ideas of trust and family and what family means to you and who your family is. Ever since she can remember, Fable has been living by these set of 5 rules that were given to her by her father, Saint. I'll read them to you because I think that they are really important to kind of understanding the character of Fable, and I think the world as well that this book takes place in. So, rule number 1, keep your knife where you can reach it. Well, that's just good sense. Rule number 2, never, ever owe anyone anything. 3, nothing is free. 4, always construct a lie from a truth. And 5, never, under any circumstances, reveal what or who matters to you. It plays a significant role in how she presents herself to the world and how she interacts with the world around her and the other characters in the book. Fable has a very tough, hard exterior. She has created this sort of shell of armor around her. Meanwhile, internally, she is a lot less secure of herself. She's not as confident. She really is just like wants to belong, wants to find her place, and that sort of internal desire of having closeness with other people does drive her, while at the same time she's been taught that that isn't okay, and she has this external barrier to prevent that. I really connect with characters more when authors explore the core beliefs of the characters involved. So in this In this particular instance, it is sort of exploring these 5 rules and how those are shaping her life, how they make her think about herself and the world around her. She really has had no evidence or reason to believe that one should think anything other and follow anything other than these 5 rules. So core beliefs in our own lives sort of dictate how we think about ourselves and how this relates to the automatic thoughts that come up in our life. So if your core belief, something that you truly deep down, like subconsciously on some inner level believe about yourself is true, that's going to be reflected in the automatic thoughts that come up in your head in various situations. For example, if a core belief that you have is that you are unlovable, then maybe in social situations you are going to question everything that you say and think, why did I say that? This person doesn't like me. They're probably talking about me. Those kinds of things. I really like when books explore these core beliefs because we get to see in a relatively short amount of time characters confront core beliefs and have growth. Whereas in our own lives, this takes place over a much longer period of time and with a lot of work. However, when we're reading a book, it takes place a little bit quicker, not just because of the timing of the book, but just the physical time that you get to read and enjoy a book. You can see a person going through growth and confronting some of their beliefs about themselves and the world. The rest of the characters in the book are not explored to as great of depth as Fable is. When Fable is on board the ship Marigold, the crew of the ship are very as untrusting of her as she is of them. Each of the crew members are sort of the side characters, I would say, does sort of follow a particular type of character. So there's like the nonsense, untrusting money guy, and there's the really like tough, I've had a hard life female crew member. There's sort of various types. However, they do have distinct personalities and backstories. And while you don't get a ton of time in this relatively short novel attributed or dedicated to learning and exploring their backstories, they are there and it does dictate who they are. And you get to learn a little bit more about them as Fable's relationships with these characters change. There is a sub-romantic plot in this novel that I thoroughly enjoyed. It is a very subtle romance in the development. It comes through in the actions that are done by the characters involved, and much less so by what is said to each other, or maybe even more pointedly, what is distinctly not said is really important in how this relationship progresses. Everything is written between the lines, and I think it was really well done. It does have perhaps maybe the most unrealistic first kiss you could possibly imagine. If you've read the book, I'm just gonna say, like, time length on that, not feasible. However, while I was a little bit rolling my eyes during this first kiss on sort of the unfeasibility of it, I definitely had all of the butterflies and internal girlish squeals. So it worked for me, even though not super realistic. The author also has a playlist that you can find on Spotify of all the songs that she was listening to or that influenced this novel, and let me tell you, this playlist was everything that I didn't know I needed. Immediately after finishing the book, I discovered this playlist and essentially listened to it nonstop for days or weeks. And it was so clearly related to the book and the writing. It was like reliving the experience of reading the book. If you really like playlists about books, I would definitely check out this one. Overall, the book is a fairly quick read. It is not super long, and I would say that the writing is very simple and straightforward. That's not necessarily a bad thing for everyone. I do enjoy sort of like just light, quick, simple reads now and then, and I would say this definitely falls into that category. I think that it is very appropriate for more of the younger readers in the young adult world, but it also has enough there that older readers within this genre can also appreciate and enjoy. There is sort of, in terms of romance or content, like there are some deaths that occur. They're not gruesomely described, but there are some deaths, and there is sort of just like a fade to black romantic scene as well. So I think content-wise, it's very approachable for a variety of ages. Okay, that is it for my non-spoiler review of the book Fable. If you are looking for a quick and easy read, but a great experience in a very atmospheric, environmental setting, then Fable might be worth checking out for you. Bonus, it is going to be just a duology, so there's not a huge commitment for this as a series. And the next book, the second book and finish or conclusion to the series, is coming out on March 16th, and that book is called Namesake. I'll put up a photo of the cover for Namesake here, along with maybe like a side-by-side of the two covers. I think it was such a cool concept. I love the cover of Fable already. I'm maybe a little bit disappointed that they changed the color scheme of the cover for the second book, which they have. But I think that they will look great side by side each other on my future beautiful bookshelves some point in the distant, maybe near future. We'll see. Well, that is it. Thank you for joining in today. If you have read the book Fable, let me know what you thought down below, along with where you think or what you think is going to happen in the next book. Make sure to put spoilers for those people who haven't read the book yet, and I hope to see you at my next video. Bye guys.